Christianic CYInterview covering Las Vegas and the world. If you haven't already, please hit the like button below. And please hit the subscribe button below to keep up with everything we have going on here at CYInterview in Las Vegas and beyond. Today we're going to revisit a CYInterview with music legend, the one, the only Dionne Warwick. And here it is.
You're on CYInterview.
I'm Christianic. Featured columnist Jay Bilstein is with me today on CYInterview. If you do one thing this Easter Sunday, you should spend it with our next guest. One of music's greatest stars, Dionne Warwick, will be performing 2 concerts that you can watch from your own home this Sunday. Dionne, thanks so much for being back with us on CYInterview. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh, we're doing great over here. It's just always such a joy when we get to have you on and talk with you about so many great different things. So to begin, we will have a few links on this page on CYInterview to direct people to where they can watch you perform on Sunday on Mandolin.com. But what are your thoughts about this? Can you give us a little preview of what people can be expecting this Sunday?
Well, I'll be in my living room. And hopefully I'll be in a lot of other people's living rooms. Basically because it's been a complete year since I've even thought about singing anything or using these vocal cords, which I hope that even though there'll be a couple of squeaks here and there, but, that goes along with not exercising that muscle. So we're going to be doing some songs that I'm expected to sing, and we'll be doing a few that I went back in the catalog and answered a few requests that were made to sing. Just an afternoon and evening of song.
The last year has been challenging for everyone around the world. What has the last year been like for you?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I've really used it as a vacation I've never had. I'm on the road 90% of my life, and this is really the first time I've spent this much time in my home. I got to sleep in my own bed, which was wonderful. Go up into my kitchen and fix whatever I wanted to eat, the way I wanted to eat it, as opposed to the way it was served to me. It's been a year of refocusing and getting back to Dionne. So I've been enjoying this year for me.
Well, we miss you here in Las Vegas. Do you want to be back at Caesar's Palace at somewhere in the future? Is that the plan, to come back here and perform shows again at some point?
Well, if I'm invited, yes, I will.
Well, we hope to see you here because it was a great year and a half when you were here at Bally's and Caesar's Palace, and I think everybody was just enjoying coming in to see you. Jay, go ahead.
Dionne, so great to be speaking with you. I do have something that's really been on my mind, and I'm so glad that we could have you on. You created a lot of buzz online with your interaction with Cardi B. And when you did, I couldn't help but think of Tony Bennett performing with Lady Gaga. Is there any chance in the future you might reach out to Cardi B and say, hey, let's collaborate?
Well, why not? She responded to me, and as did Chance the Rapper, which I am doing something with at this point in time. In fact, I should have his portion of the song that we're going to be doing within the next 10 days. And I'll be putting my voice on track with him. And sometime this summer, that will be released and out. So, I'm having a wonderful time interfacing with the babies, as I call them, and how they are reacting to me as I'm reacting back with them. I'm learning an awful lot about them, and they seem to know an awful lot about me, which is wonderful to know.
Well, you know what, it was very gratifying to me personally because I'm a lot closer to you in age than I am to Cardi B, and when I saw her reaction to you, tweeting her, and I think you were tweeting her about her authenticity and all, how she was blown away by, being contacted by you, being tweeted at by you, and I thought that was very heartening, because I think it's always good when people can appreciate different musical styles, different genres, different eras of music. No?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I have, I've been now crowned the queen of Twitter, which I find quite amusing. But it's been really a bunch of fun. I'm getting reactions from these babies that they seem to want to hear from me and want to know what I have to say. I don't do this on a daily basis. I don't get up in the morning saying, I got to tweet. I do it when I feel I want to say something to whomever it is that I have on my mind at that time, or just to say something that might encourage and put a smile on people's faces. And I'm giggling an awful lot with these babies. I really am. It's wonderful.
Well, I find it very interesting, and I think it's kind of a great pop culture moment. But speaking of the past, I never knew, and I always like to find out something new before we, speak to someone who, like yourself, who, goodness knows how many times you've been interviewed and asked the same question. So perhaps I can come up with something that you haven't been asked, at least recently. James Bond, the soundtrack for Thunderball. You recorded a song, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and there's a tie-in there with Dame Shirley Bassey, and later on in this whole thing with Sir Tom Jones. Could you speak about that for a moment?
Well, basically, I was brought into England by the company that does most of the Bond films, covered by and John Barry, who is the composer and orchestrator of most of those particular songs at that time, presented the song, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I recorded it, and for whatever reason, they felt that wasn't the song they wanted to use as the title for the film, Thunderball. So, as a result of that, as a matter of fact, John felt so bad about it, as did the production company, for flying me all the way over to England for no reason. I received my first puppy, which was a Pomeranian, and I named him Bang Bang. So out of it, I did receive something that was absolutely wonderful, and that was my baby puppy.
What I find, and that's a very, very, who would have ever thought such a thing? It really gives a human face to the music business. I think sometimes people think the business of music is just all cold and calculating and what'll sell. And so that's something very nice that I haven't heard anywhere. As I have read it, supposedly Shirley Bassey first recorded the song. They thought it was too long, and she wasn't available to come back. And she had done, I believe, for Goldfinger. She sang the iconic song for Goldfinger. So they reached out to you, and you did it. And then, like you said, for some reason they said, no, we're not going to go with us. And then they brought in Tom Jones, who did a song called Thunderball, same name as the movie. Have you performed over your storied career with either Shirley Bassey or Tom Jones?
Oh, with Tom Jones, yes, of course. We're of the same era. Shirley, I met Shirley, and we became fast friends, as a matter of fact. I've seen her perform, but I've never performed with her.
Got you. Well, she's you and Tom, I guess, are the same generation, the same age. Shirley is older, of course. Some phenomenal music came out of the 1960s, but I did read one song, and I don't know if this is true. You read so much stuff online that, do you know the way to San Jose is not really one of the favorite songs you've ever done. Is that true?
That's really true. I did not want to record that song at all. I just felt that after incredible lyrics that how David had me sing, that he would ever write a song with whoa, 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 whoa. And I just said, no, this is not what, no, I don't think so. But because of his love of San Jose, he just decided, Dionne, you have to sing the song. And I said, because of my love for him, I decided, well, yes, I'll do it the best way I can. And, as it turns out, I really no criteria for what I should be recording, what I shouldn't, or what a hit is or what it isn't, because as a result of it, I literally cried all the way to the bank. What can I tell you? It was one of my biggest recordings.
Well, it's a nice reason to have to cry. But it's interesting because the reaction of fans and the reaction of the artist can be so different. I remember for a time that Robert Plant, the lead singer for Led Zeppelin, he just didn't want to sing Stairway to Heaven because he'd sang it so much. He just like, I can't put anything into this emotionally anymore. Have you ever had a moment, Dionne, where you felt, gee whiz, I've done this song so many times, it's just hard to pull something out of myself and invest it with the emotion I want?
No, that I've never done. I completely realized that because of these particular recordings, I am who I am, and those people who have supported my career for that long feel that that's what they want to hear. So I have never said, no, I can't sing this song because of any other reason than I have to sing this song. It's the reason I am who I am.
Well, I think that makes an awful lot of sense, and it's certainly true. You mentioned Hal Davis, rest in peace. Have you had any interaction with in later years with Burt Bacharach?
Oh, absolutely. We still stay in touch with you. Hal and Burt and I ended up being more than friends. We became family. We were known in the industry as the triangle marriage that worked. And, I watched their children grow as they watched mine. We put our feet under each other's dinner tables at one time or another. So our relationship has never waned. We had a problem for a period of time, and that was a legal problem. But even with that, true friendships never die.
You in effect may be considered part of popular music's first throuple, as they call it today, right? The three of you together. What a power team that really was. What a hit-making team. But besides being teamed up with people of tremendous consequence in the music business, you come from a family of extraordinary talent and talents in your family. Have you ever, it's hard to think, we who are on the outside looking in as fans or reporting on the music business, it's different for us. But somebody like yourself, you ever sit back sometime, go out to your garden or what have you and think, look at my family. Look at everybody in my family who's been such a phenomenal talent. Do you ever think about that, or it's just, hey, this is just us?
Well, basically, it's just us. I truly know that my family and God was blessed to have the voices that we were given by our Heavenly Father. And as long as we use them properly, that's basically what we will continue to do. I come from an incredible singing family. Everybody in my family sings. And anyone who saw my show at Caesars found that to be true. I have my son who plays drums for me in my quartet. My granddaughter, his daughter, also now is performing with me on stage and singing great. My sister was an incredible singer, God rest her soul. My mom and her sisters and brothers who were gospel singers. So it's the old saying, the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree.
Indeed. And you know what? I'll close with this. You are such a nice human being. And I think sometimes people perceive, they think in terms of divas. They think in terms of, wow, this person is this kind of unapproachable entity who is one of the, the greatest stars in the history of popular music. And besides all that, you're just such a nice, accessible person, and I think that says a lot about you. I think it says a lot about your family, how you were raised, and your perspective on life, and really it's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm a people person. The business I'm in requires that, first of all. And if you don't like folks, then I don't think you should be in show business, really.
It makes sense.
Dionne, two last questions. There has been some news recently that there's going to be a series possibly on your life, possibly distributed through Netflix. Can you give us any new information? Yeah, well, it hasn't been, the I's have not been dotted or T's crossed regarding Netflix. There have been other entities have shown interest in the possibility of doing this. So we're kind of waiting to see who drops the biggest ball in the court. Do you think it will become a reality, though? Oh, absolutely. No doubt. There's been a lot of people making overtures, so we'll figure it out soon, hopefully. And then finally, something we didn't get to talk about in our first CY interview with you a few years ago. Do you have any message to your fans? Anything you'd like to say to them? No, other than thank you. It's been phenomenal. It's almost 60 years now that I've been in the industry. And to know that they continue to support and appreciate what I'm bringing to them is it's sometimes overwhelming. So I'm certainly grateful and thankful to them continuing the support and wanting to come out and hear me and have some fun with me. This coming Sunday on Easter, Dionne Warwick will give 2 concerts from her home on Mandolin.com. More information to how to purchase tickets and see that performance on Sunday are at the bottom of this CY interview. So for music legend, the one and only Dionne Warwick, featured columnist Jay Bildstein, and CY interview, I'm Chris Shinnick.